So I'm back with Dane. Dane, I met you about 3 weeks ago. We had a really good conversation. You told me after the interview last time that you were going to go to the hospital. Did you end up going to the hospital?
Yeah, I did. I ended up going to the hospital that night that I talked to you. One of the wounds on my legs started bleeding profusely, and I bled about 2 pints. So they called the ambulance for me, and I went back, had emergency surgery to stop the bleeding, and I stayed in the hospital a total of about 3 weeks, 2 different times, and I had 9 different surgeries to save my leg, and I still have my leg. You know, there was times when I was literally asking them to cut it off because, man, this is the 4th time I've been hospitalized for it, and makes the 11th surgery. So, but I'm glad they didn't cut my leg off. You know, they saved it for now, and I got a long road to go, man. It's just.
What was the issue?
Bad deal.
What's going on with your leg? What do they call it?
I had it's called necrotizing. Flesh-eating bacteria. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but it's basically a antibiotic-resistant strain of some kind of flesh-eating bacteria. It wasn't MRSA, but something just as bad. And yeah, I still have open surgical wounds on here, and I have to get my dressings changed and all that. It's still a long road to go. I really need to be in like some kind of long-term like rehab or care home or something. But
what did they tell you when you were in there? Are you gonna be able to walk eventually, or what?
Yeah, once it heals up, and I do the physical therapy. You know, I've been doing that on my own. I just did it earlier. I'll be able to walk again. I'll probably have, of course, I have a slight limp, but if I take care of myself and don't get back into the drugs and all that, I got a chance to A, save my leg, and B, live. You know, it's so harsh out here with the heat and everything. If it gets reinfected or anything, you know, it's got a good chance it's just gonna kill me off. And they told me as much. But I'm back out here where I was. I haven't got back on the fentanyl yet. I've got pain medications, so I'm trying to taper myself off of those, you know, and get off of the opiates completely. And they're rough. They're a demon.
What do they prescribe you?
I get 45 milligrams of morphine 3 times a day, and then oxycodone 4 different times a day, just whenever I need it.
For the pain?
Yeah.
Oxycodone is basically an opiate, right?
Yeah.
Numbing effect, very similar to what fentanyl does, right? They're related, right?
Yeah.
Just fentanyl, yeah. I mean, they're both synthetic, man-made.
Only thing is I'm getting one from a doctor, and the other I just get out here on the streets. I basically switched from one opiate to another, from fentanyl, and then transitioned over to the pharmaceutical ones that they give me, which is not any better, but it's legal, and at least with the pharmaceuticals, you know, I can try to control it and titrate myself off, which is what I'm doing, what I plan on doing.
While you were in there for like 3 weeks, because you just got out yesterday, you said?
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw you 3 weeks ago. That night you went to the hospital. You've been in the hospital. I came out here looking for you, and nobody seen you. And I was like, oh, maybe he's in the hospital. And I was passing by, and is that him? I can't really tell because you're wearing sunglasses, a hat, and your beard grew a little bit. So I'm like, is that him? You know, it has to be him. You know, the wheelchair gave it away. So I'm glad you went. You know, because so many people fight that. You know, even though you have to go to save your life, save your limbs, people refuse to go. But you something. What what triggered you to go?
Well, basically it was either go or bleed to death because one of the wounds on my leg, it opened up and just started bleeding profusely right there in the middle of the street. And a friend that was with me, she had the sense enough to get on the phone right away and call the ambulance and, do first aid on me, which I'm thankful for.
Did they say why? The doctor say why that happened? Is that just the infection was so bad it started bleeding?
Yeah, just a vein or something inside my leg, a pretty good sized one, just ruptured, or they had to do emergency surgery right then and there pretty much as soon as I got to the hospital.
The flesh-eating bacteria got to a vein or something.
Yeah.
And just opened it up and could have bled to death, right?
Yeah, I could have. If I wouldn't have went, it would have just kept bleeding.
Or if you would have been knocked out, like slumped out after just doing pills.
Yes, if I would have been like asleep or nodded out, I would have bled to death right then and there. I would have. I really would have. I asked the doctor that too, and they said it was very likely because if I would have been asleep, I didn't feel any pain associated with it. I would have just kept on sleeping, and I would have just kept on bleeding, and I would have just went lights out right there. So, it's an eye-awakening experience just to know that the only difference between me sitting here right now talking to you and not is that I wasn't asleep.
Scary.
Yeah, it really is.
But while you were in there for 3 weeks, the doctor knows you use blues, right?
Yeah.
They didn't offer like a treatment, like for you to go somewhere?
They did. They not exactly a treatment, but like a care facility. It was basically, I liken it to a nursing home. But when I got there, of course I had been using drugs on the streets, and so I got there and they found out that I had ecstasy in my system some way, and the pain doctor took me off all my pain medication and cold turkey, which was like 135 milligrams. And I told him, I said, man, you gotta like taper me off. There's no way I can go through these withdrawals just like that. And I got to the point where I was so sick I literally couldn't get out of bed, lay there defecated on myself. So that's how I ended up back out here. Was I left that facility so I could get those medications from my doctor out here and not be sick as a dog. I think that's highly irresponsible of that facility and that doctor to do that to me, because I needed to be in that facility, and I don't think that they did that right. But I'm not a doctor, so what do I know?
Well, you try to get to like another facility, just keep trying to get into a facility.
Yeah, that's the reason why I came back to this area. Is there's some medical clinics around here that are helping me change my bandages and kind of keep an eye on me.
Okay.
I've been there today and talked to them and kind of got enrolled with them and all that. I'm gonna try it from here, but I want to go to like a rehab and get off of the opiates completely before I get back on them. It's everywhere out here, so it's just a matter of time. I'm an addict. There hasn't been enough time that's elapsed for me being off of the fentanyl. So
Do you have a phone?
I don't have a phone. I tried to get a free phone yesterday. As soon as I got out, I passed one of those tents and they said they couldn't find me in their system. So
Okay. Yeah, what I could do is I could call around to treatment centers. You can't just show up because a lot of times they don't have space, right? There's no bed, basically, right?
Right.
So I can call around and see who can accommodate you. okay?
Man, that would be awesome.
Let them know you have a wheelchair, or you're currently on prescribed opiates for your pain, but you're trying to get off the blues. So I'll call around. I know where you're at, so I'll come looking for you, this week once I
Okay.
have like an answer, okay? So is that cool? Do you want me to do that?
Yeah, I would really appreciate it. I really would.
Yeah, you're down. You're ready to go.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Like, I reached rock bottom. Oh, and another thing too, like I got to see a whole bunch of pictures and videos of my son that was born last fall. I don't know if we spoke about him before, if I told you about him, but
Yeah.
and that was awesome. That's a big motivator for me too.
Where your son at?
He's in Payson living with his grandma.
Okay. On
Not
the
my
side?
mom, but his mom's mom.
Okay, got it. So he's doing good.
Yeah,
How old is he?
he's 8.5 months old.
How did you see that?
My mom came and visited me in the hospital down here. She made the trip from New Mexico to come see me.
Is that where she's
because-
at? New Mexico?
Yeah. And she and my dad come down here. My dad, he goes to the Mayo Clinic, and they stop where he lives in a town north of here
Okay.
and see him every chance they get. So yeah, she had a bunch of pictures and stuff and videos. That was really cool.
Made you happy?
Yeah, that was a huge motivator too. It still is.
Yeah. Dane, I'm gonna say thank you very much for talking to me. I'm really glad that you feel motivated. I see it in your eyes. Seeing your son, videos, pictures of your son, seeing your parents. You went to the hospital and they patched you up. Take this as an opportunity to get better, not to go back to the same thing, right? Same cycle, man.
Yeah.
Because you're knocking on death's door,
I really am.
So don't tempt it, man. Don't tempt it. You just stay clean. Again, I really am gonna call around and try to find a place that can accommodate you, and I'll get you there. I've dropped people off at treatment centers before. Okay, stay here. I don't have my card with me right now, but just try to stay here for this week. I'll come find you, and we'll make it happen. Okay?
Okay, I
So-
would really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Truly and sincerely,
Yeah,
I would
no,
take advantage of that opportunity.
I'm here to help you, okay? So just
Thank
keep
you.
that in mind, brother, okay? So, again, it was really nice to see you. Thank you very much for talking to me. That's a good update, You're not where you want to be, but you're getting there, right?
Yeah.
So I like the enthusiasm and that passion that you have to get better, okay? And I'll definitely try to assist you as much as I can, okay?
All right, thank you.
We'll talk very soon.
All right.